So we are lovely Ivy House Lakes, Heron Lakes, in page 20, which is decent. One, there's 20 people, but it's Saturday. I can't believe it. So he's at 20. That's pretty good. So every single bag's in, which will obviously slow it down a touch. The wind's going this way, which is really important. I went to Boulding yesterday. It was very, very obvious that all the fish were in the wind, and I think it's been the same all week at some point. So the wind's coming in, which is really good. Basically approach, I'm going to start short on hard pellets. I'm going to throw hard pellets on the edge because it's real deep, tight here to that cover. So I'm going to throw hard pellets on, I'm going to throw hard pellets short, and then just fish shallow with nuggets. The bait rule today is £6, but at the weekend when a Fish South Qualifier, I've got here Saturday, there's no bait rule, so I can bring up £10. I was a little bit unsure whether to bring casters or nuggets today, but I had a load of nuggets left over from Boulding so just got to nuggets and I can spend them. I'm not buying another £6 of casters and I've got a load of nuggets left. So, the rates have been like 130, 150, which says to me nuggets could be good. I think when the weight gets 200, 210, 220, 250, that's when casters come into the run. But it's still 3 degrees at night, which is fairly cold. So yeah, it's a bit shallow out there. Hard pellets short, hard pellets on the edge. Have a good practice today because the pegging today is very similar to what it's going to be in the Fish South Qualifier on Saturday. So yeah, really, really simple. I've literally got a tub of pellets and a tub of maggots. That's it. Just see what happens. Hopefully, every single time I've ever been on there and it's warm, we always get a big fish in. So yeah, fingers crossed I can get another one and film a nice little match for you. So we're about 90 seconds before the start of the match. All ready to rock and roll. It's not taking me too long to set up at all because all my shallow rigs are on my my top kits already. That wind seems to have died right off now. There's literally not a breath of wind anywhere. There is an odd fish top in here as well, which is a really good sign because normally when they top here, there's a few in your peg. So yeah, just simple approach, exactly what I said earlier. I'm going to start on short on pellets. I'm going to throw a few hard pellets in the edge, and I've got a really nice reflection at about 13 metres here from the edge of the island to the sky. So it's mint. I can literally sit short on my hard pellets and I can loose feed my maggots right to my reflection. Here we go then. So I'm just going to put a few maggots in to start with. Try and build a little base there. Just give it like 4 lots. I reckon a lot of that will get to the bottom. To be fair, that's gone in beautiful as well because there's no wind. That's always the problem with maggots. If they're nothing like as accurate as feeding casters. But today, because we haven't got literally any wind, they went in beautiful then. So what I'm going to do, every single time I fill my pot up, I'm just going to loose feed my maggots there. Start off potting short, make a little bit of noise and see if we can catch pretty quickly. But as soon as I start catching short, what I'll do, I'll start throwing, because I know when you start throwing here, throwing your hard pellets is a lot better. I think you create just a little bit of an area. It'd be interesting today as well because, oh, there you go. I was just about to say I don't know what response I'm going to get, but that's a fairly good one. Little carp. That's a really good sign. Click that one. can't wait to get out there shallow. Just a few hard pellets, literally like 15 hard pellets. I've never ever had a peg plumb up quite as nice as this at Ivy. Normally it's like rocky and sloping. Here it's just sloping off, but like a snooker table, it's just lush, there's no rocks. The plummet just sits perfect every time. So I'm hoping, oh, that was a little indication. I'm hoping that will be good, that I'll have a better run. Another little indication. If you can, the best way of feeding your pellets here. Oh, yeah, another little indication. Oh, that's a really small fish. It's a little tiny carp. It's a nice fish. But I think what I'll do, I'll have one more, just potting a few, and then I'll start throwing, because I've had indications straight away. Flick my rig past, tap in a few pellets. Remember, I'll probably try and catch one more like this, and then I'll start throwing there, because it's obvious the fish are coming to noise. God, they're going in lovely, those maggots today. A few missed bites there, which is quite weird. Normally when you start your hard pellet line, it's usually pretty good here, but it has been 3-4 degrees at night. That young lad over there to my right on 17, he's actually got, oh, that's another little indication. He's got a spare peg either side there, and there's every peg here, so I reckon he's gonna be hard to beat. He'll catch a load of fish there, I'm sure. It's definitely not solid though. Every time I feed I do get an indication, but I thought it might be better than this already. A few missed bites. They're definitely off the bottom, those fish. Let's just try throwing. I reckon that could be better today than, see, that's what I mean, see, I had good throwiness. And what I'll do, I'll take my pot off now, and then what I'll do, I'll put my rig in, and I'll try and get one before feeding again, if that makes sense, because obviously those pellets weren't anywhere near the bottom then. See if I can get one. If not, then I'll throw again. So I had one indication literally straight away as soon as my float settled then, but no more indications. So I'll just feed again. just 4mm fishery pellets. It's really weird, they're all small carp, which is weird. Just leave the great big F ones for when I go shallow. But like I said, throwing does seem very good here. I thought it would be. Indication straight away. That wind's blowing down. Definitely like coming in at this sort of way, like, which is good. Definitely the fish seem to want to be in the wind recently, so. Right, so I threw some pellets that time, but no indication, which is a bit weird. Give it a little bit longer. Nice thing is about fishing this distance, it's very easy to hold your pole nice and still while you feed your maggots. Right, so no indications on that throw. Just try again. I can tell straight away though, this lake definitely isn't in summer mode, not yet, because when you come in the height of summer and you fish like this, it's just constant bites, line bites. And the last two throws, my float hasn't moved. Which probably is a sign that maggots are going to be better than casters. God, them maggots are going in beautiful there. Got to be good, that. This might be a bit of a late day today, where you catch really well late, because it was 3-4 degrees when I got here. So as the water starts to warm up, I think the water temperature on days like today will rise around 2-3 degrees through the day. So later on in the day, when the water temperature gets up to like 14-15 degrees, that's when the fish might start feeding. It's really weird. So I had bites, like loads of bites straight away, and then the last 3 feeds have not had a bite. Definitely seems good flicking your rig out rather than just sitting there. Just flicking your rig past like that and letting it all drag in on that shelf. But straight away I can tell that I've caught like 3 or 4 fish, and it's just gone. I've missed 2 bites the last 3 feeds, which is weird. But it's amazing really how much this lake changes when you get like 20 anglers around it. You get like 10 round it, you just get a bite, a chuck on everything. Just going to throw some pellets in that edge. Not seen any sign on those maggots yet, no swirls or anything. What I might do quickly, I might just put a pot back on and just tap a few in really accurately and just see if that's better. Because I thought that a fork throwing would be brilliant, but I'm going to feed my maggots, and then I'm going to just tap a few in from a bit of a height, really accurate. See if I can get a bite in that column of bait. That was an indication straight away, but not a proper bite. Another little indication then. What I'll do then, obviously that isn't the greatest start to the mash. I thought it was going to be a lot better than that. But every peg in is in along here, and it was really cold last night. Oh, there's a bite. Just on that, with that pot. They're all little carp, it's weird that. No F1s. Normally when you go in and you're on some F1s here, you catch F1s short. But maybe all those F1s are just sat out shallow, maybe, hopefully anyway. Right, what I'll do, I'll just try and catch you one more.
But already looking round, I can see that not everybody's gone in and caught well at the start. That young lad up to my right, he's caught. But, like I said, he's got a spare peg either side with that wind going in. Just see if I can catch one more with that pot. And then I'll give you a little update after like an hour or so. Where hopefully by then I'll be out on my maggots getting one a bung. Bit of luck anyway. That little delay then when I had that tangle might have freshened the peg up, if you know what I mean. That would have given the fish chance to eat all the bait. Mental that, isn't it? Freshen the peg up, back on that pot. Slightly better one as well. Another carp though. Right, leave it there. I'll give you a little update in about an hour or so. Right, so we are an hour and a half in, and I've got to be honest, we're having a very, very strange day here. So, started short on hard pellets. Caught a few fish, but they were very small and they were all carp. I thought it was ever so weird, like, 'cause it's normally better than that. But after like 35 minutes, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go shallow. Went shallow, literally caught nothing. I couldn't believe it. Started overshotting, like I always do. Never caught anything. I thought, well, before they allowed overshotting here, I did have one match where I caught like 180 on maggot shallow, just for a normal rig. So I thought I'll go in on a normal rig. Never had a bite. I'm like, that's so weird. So what I'd done, I dropped back in on hard pellets and that was rubbish again. So I changed my edge line. Instead of throwing hard pellets down the edge, I thought I'd throw maggots, because I thought that gives me a better chance of catching like for a long period there. Just feel like hard pellets, you'll go in, you'll nick a couple and then they'll go. With maggots, I feel like you've got a chance of catching, like get a real decent run of quite a few fish. And I've gone in and I've caught probably 8 fish there, but they're so small. Exactly the same fish as I was catching on my short pellet line. All these little carp, like 8-10 ounces, which is so weird, to be honest. Like, I've never ever been in this situation at Ivy before, at this time of year. Normally you can just go out shallow, short of hard pellets, shallow, and a bit of edge fishing late, but that's definitely not the case today. The only person really I can see catching is the guys on the back wall, but they've got a peg either side of them spare, so they've got like 3 times as much room as anyone else, which on a day like today, when there's 20 people on the lake, does make a difference. But I'm like the only one on this bank feeding maggot shallow, and I thought I'll just go in and get a bar chuck on it. Hasn't been the case at all. The only thing is that wind's got up again a little bit now, which could be a good thing. And this this edge line's gone a little bit funny now on me. I caught that one little carp just a second ago. I've missed a couple of bites. When I first went in, I caught 6 really, really quickly. A couple of like pound carp. But it's It's not very good at all. Like, I've probably got £20, I reckon. After an hour and a half, which isn't great at all. The only other option I've got, I feel like the only other thing I can do, apart from fishing the edge short with my pellets and my shallow line, would be to fish 16 metres on the bottom here, because I know I can get up onto the hard bottom. But I don't want to start messing about too much. Because if you just start messing about too much, then you're not really fishing in a way where you can win. But if I go back out shallow now and I can't catch again, I'm going to have to do something like that. See, that's a gudgeon, that. This is so weird, frustrating. Bit of a weird time of year at the moment because it's getting warm in the day, but it's still really cold at night. And we've got real high pressure, northerly winds, northeasterly winds. So something's not quite right with the fishing yet, really isn't. So what I'm going to do, this is my plan. That's decent, it's a slightly better one. What I'm going to do, I'm going to keep obviously throwing maggots. There, I'm obviously going to keep feeding my shallow line. But if I go in on either of those lines and I stop catching, I'm going to have a plumb up at 16 metres, but I really don't want to do it, to be honest. I'm just hoping that the longer I can catch down the edge, the more time I've fed on my shallow line, like the better it'll be when I go out there, and then the better that it is when I go out there, the longer I'll be leaving this line. So hopefully I can just keep nicking fish off each line all day and not have to go out to 16, because I really don't want to do it, to be honest. So that line is strong, but it's definitely not the right stamp of fish to win today. I'm just hoping, I really am hoping, at some point I go out shallow and they've arrived. Because if I can just keep nicking fish from in here. Oh, there's some swirls out there on those maggots then. That's a really good sign. If I can just keep nicking fish off both lines, then I'll be alright today. Probably won't be good enough to win if I've got to keep swapping and changing, but it'll be a decent day's fishing and hopefully be thereabouts. That's a really good sign now, I saw some swirls. Because normally when they're swirling you just catch one a bum. And that's the first time I've seen any swirls. Bit weird because I saw some swirls out there then, and then this line's got a little bit better now. So maybe the fish are just starting to have a munch. That's a better one. Got to keep feeding that shallow line. Oh yeah, they're swirling out there now. That's a really good sign. Fed my maggots a bit rubbish then. I've got to be honest, this is probably as quick as catching shallow at the moment down there. So I'll keep catching like this for as long as I can, because the longer I can catch down there, the better my shallow line will be when I go on it. Don't know how those gudgeon got in here. Quite a few fish on this line now. That last couple of chucks definitely had some indications of fish on the way down. And I have caught shallow in the edges on here before, so that might be an option. But I'll just hold that line nice and tight to the float so as it's sinking. Oh. Just see if I can see any swirls this go. Just missed a few bites here now down the edge, but that last fish was a gudgeon. I don't know if there's some. Oh, do you reckon they've come up off the bottom? Back then, when I fed my bait, my float was like this. I reckon they're off the bottom down there now. Let's just have a quick go. Yeah, they're swirling out there now. Oh, that was a bite. Just set that float at 2 foot. And it's just under 3 foot down there. I really feel like I need to go out shallow there though. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go out shallow. I'm going to start at 20 inches with an overshotted rig. Because if they're swirling, normally you catch them at like 16. See if I can catch like that. And just leave this line now. But that's a really good sign. I've probably caught a dozen fish in there, a dozen carp. So that if that dies, I can jump back in here and nick some fish and use it as my resting line. But yeah, they're not off the bottom down there though, definitely not. Right, let's have a, tell you what I'll do, I'll just have a quick go over shot in long. And then I will stop filming and I will give you another update in like an hour or so, but hopefully I'll have a real good run on this now, fingers crossed anyway. So, let's go, 20-inch rig, feed before you go out. Turn my rig over, let it all sink. And there we go, there's the one. I got a feed in today. You're going to have to be really reactive with the way you fish. So like on a line, nick 5 or 6. On a different line, nick 5 or 6. That's how it's going to be today, I think. Or the other option, what it could be, is just get one every chuck on this now to the end of the match. Just going to feed twice this time. Try and keep that duck in my peg for as long as possible. And that fish was a decent F1, which is a really good sign. So that's the ones you need to catch catch a real big weight. See, it's not dead right though yet. Oh, moan that one up. Another F1, that's a brilliant sign, that. Just going to fix it. I fed twice before I went out that time, so I'm just going to feed once now. Try and keep that duck in my pack. There we go. Definitely seen better feeding once. Don't it? Another big F1. That's the boys we want. Come on, mate. Just once I feed now. Got to keep those ducks in your pack if you can. Oh, just popped off that one. Might have just nicked it outside the mouth. Normally when that happens, if it pops off like that, it's just outside the mouth. Means you're fishing a little bit too deep normally. little bit of a delay with that one. I feel like it's because my hook length broke in the net and my feeding went a bit wayward. Right, what I'm going to do, just going to catch you one more fishing like this, and then I'll fill you in about an hour or so, and I'll let you know what's going down. But catching out there now, so if I keep my edge line and my long line fed, I'm going to have to be careful with bait though here. I've only got 6 pints because that's the limit, and if I keep feeding them in the edge and shallow, I'm going to run out. So I might have to bin off the edge with maggots and just save them for out there. Right, so we have got about 2 hours to go. I've got to be honest, having a bit of a really weird day. Like, when I last left you, I went out shallow, had a decent run, came back in on maggots in the edge, but nothing's been good, like nothing's right. You just go in on it and you catch like 3 or 4 fish, and then you can't get a bite. And obviously I was feeding maggots there and maggots out shallow, but I was no way I'm gonna have enough bait to do it, to feed maggots on both lines. I'm gonna run out well before the end. So I've swapped this to hard pellets, and there's when I've gone in, I've had nowhere near as many bites, but the bites are a lot cleaner and the fish are just a touch bigger, I would say. Right, I just had one then, probably 1.5 pounds, and I wasn't really catching them before on maggots. When I was throwing maggots down there, I was catching loads of little carp and odd gudgeon, stuff like that, you know. Oh, there you go. See, it's a lot cleaner when I'm fishing with pellets, without a doubt. So, my peg's in a nice position, if I'm honest. Like, I can go in the edge, I can catch a few fish, I can catch a few fish shallow, but I've got to be honest, I don't think it's going to be possible to beat the lads down to my right on that dam wall. They're catching really well, but it's every other peg down there, and it does make a difference. But I'm learning a bit for Saturday though, which is the main thing. Like whether I win or not or whatever today, it's a bit irrelevant because I just want to get it dead right for Saturday. But I'm catching fish, but I just don't feel like how I'm catching is good enough, because those boys down there seem to be able to just go in on a line and catch steady. You know, I'm having to go here, there and everywhere. Mine, that is pretty good down there now, to be fair. I've got to be honest, this pellet line in the edge seems to be a lot. Oh my god. Seems to be a lot better than the shallow line, that's for sure. It's just whether they stay on this edge line, that's the only problem. I feel like I'm going to go in, nail a few, and then it's going to go. But it's fine, because then what I'll do, I'll go back out shallow, hopefully get a little run on that, and then come back in if I can just keep, yeah. Those lads over there on that dam wall seem to be catching really well now. But I'm learning now for Saturday. Already can tell that throwing pellets in the edge seems definitely better than throwing maggots. And I am starting to think that maybe casters is going to be better shallow than maggots, simply because of the grouping that you can get. Those maggots, they do spread out over a bit of an area. Nowhere near as many bites on pellets in the edge like this, throwing pellets, but they have been a lot better stamp and cleaner bites. I think I've had 4 or 5 since I've gone in there then. There's a young lad on the dam wall on peg 17, and he seems to be catching really well shallow. This is the only problem with pellets. This is what usually happens. You go in, you go boom, boom, boom really quickly, and then nothing. With maggots, you go in and you seem to catch for a lot longer. What I'll probably do Let's get one more down there and then have another go shallow. Because the bites were really clean, but they seem to have just gone a little bit funny now. When you get those smaller carp in your peg, you seem to get real funny little bites. One more and then I'm going to go back shallow, I think. Oh, that was a hell of a bite. Oh, it's so weird, this edge fishing. It's like, one minute the bites are all clean and lovely. Next minute it's like, like, I think it's just those, oh, that was better. Yeah, but as soon as you start getting those stupid bites, it's definitely because you get a different stamp of fish in your peg. So, that's good then. Little rest for that shallow line. And then back out there. The best depth on my shallow line's been 16 inches by an absolute country mile. That's weird, I thought I'd get one straight away then after resting it. Oh, thought something then. There we go. Oh. Just seems to be the trend today on this peg for some reason today. Don't know if it's room because every peg's in, or ripple, but you just can't go in on one line and clatter them. do feel like my peg's in a nice position now. I've kept it nice and simple. I've nicked fish off both lines. Just a shame we can't keep it going for a little bit longer on A line. But to be fair, when I think about it, last Wednesday 150 won the match, and that was Matty Hamilton, who's a brilliant angler at this style of fishing, and I think there was only 10 here. Suddenly you put 20 on a lake. That's so weird. Gone back out shallow, got one, and then just nothing. Tricky day today, proper tricky. I've never had this before at Ivy, ever. They are real decent fish shallow though. That wind has totally changed around now as well. It's going at that end now, which is not a good thing. That's a nice one. Carp that. So easy to forget to feed your pellets. Right, I'll try and get you one more and then I will fill you in just before the end. But I can't see me doing much different now other than fishing shallow like this and fishing in the edge with hard pellets. That's what I mean. Go out, caught one, then caught two really quickly. Thought, right. And then this chuck, nothing. It's not right yet, this. Fishing like this. Tell you what would, the way you would catch them fishing like this, if it was windy and you had a ripple, you would catch them then. Mown that one on, didn't I? Right, I'll leave you there. I'll give you a shout about an hour to go. We'll start.
85, 20.
Who's that, Gary Etheridge?
No. Tim. Peg 10.
Peg 10.
You reach 200 colour.
50. That's over. Put another net in, we'll say it's over. £35 free.
Okay.
The rough ones, they haven't had a go today.
No.
So, 70% carp today.
Do you get any shallow? Did you get rods?
No, not really, no.
£44 a stick.
You're on the desk of you.
Want a photo of these fish after?
Yeah, please, mate. Oh, no, I'm filming now, so.
No, it was
£27 two.
Oh, do a steal.
Keep your hand as dry.
Cheers.
Winning.
Thank you very much.
Right, so that's it, weighed in, all done. I ended up with £106, which was enough to win on the day, which was very nice because I didn't think £106 would be enough to win today. But yeah, that shallow line wasn't great at all, but the fish were very big on it. Like, my middle net went £44, and I think I put the same amount of fish in that as the other two nets, and the other two nets were like 35. So just shows that I think realistically it's brilliant and all that, catching down the edge on pellets and stuff, but the fish are just, you catch those carp and they don't weigh as much as those F1s. Those big F1s really do weigh. But yeah, just swap between the two lines, shallow and maggots and down the edge of pellets like you see me doing, and I've kept fish coming all day, to be fair. I've probably had 100 fish. I've just kept mudfish coming all day, and thankfully that was enough. Like, there's a few other weights on the other side, there's some 70s and there's some 80s, but I feel like on Saturday on the Fish South, just feel like someone with a little bit of room gets a little bit of luck with what angles do around them. And go in shallow and catch 120, 130, I'm sure of it. But you never know, 100 odd pound could be enough again. So, yeah. But I learned a little bit though. I'm still unsure whether maggots or casters shallow. I just think probably because it's harder, maggots get more fish in your peg. But when you feed casters, you group them so tight. I think you just like gather all the fish in one little area when you fish casters. Still don't know what to do. I might bring like 8 pints of post, I don't know, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'll have a little think about that tomorrow, and then make my mind up on Friday and tomorrow night. So, well, to be fair, I haven't got long to make my mind up. So tomorrow, and then we'll fish on Saturday. So I need to order my date for tomorrow. And then yeah, I'm in bed. Lovely day. I love coming here. It's always good. It's always really clean. Get weighed in nice and quickly. The fish are immaculate. It's a brilliant little thing. Shame you ain't got like 4 more like this. That's a bit asking. There might, to be fair, even if you had 4 more than this, seems to be the way that some people don't seem to want to fish for F1s as much as they do on the fish fair. So yeah, it doesn't get the following that it deserves, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Caught a few fish again for you, and yeah, I'll hopefully try and do a couple more next time.